The issue of immigration formed a major part of Donald Trump's presidential campaign, and now that he's in the Oval Office, he's acting on his word. The latest executive order, signed by the newly re-elected president, will order the establishment of a detention centre at Guantanamo Bay to hold migrants living illegally in the United States. Joining me now is Democrat strategist Jim Kessler, who's previously advised Senator Chuck Schumer. Jim, wow. Guantanamo Bay was certainly something I don't think he flagged before the election, but I would point out to our viewers that don't know, Guantanamo Bay held terrorists, the worst kind of terrorists for quite some time. Now it's going to hold immigrants, illegal immigrants?
Yeah, this is certainly, he didn't talk about this in the campaign. At least I didn't hear it. You know, I think most Americans want to see more done on illegal immigration in America, but they're looking for something that's very balanced. And Donald Trump has acted very decisively on illegal immigration, but it hasn't been balanced at all. And I don't think putting tens of thousands of illegal immigrants on Guantanamo Bay is going to be very popular in this country. I think this feels like an overreach.
What's Guantanamo Bay doing at the moment? I mean, we all know the history of Guantanamo Bay and the allegations of torture, but has it been largely mothballed for years, or does it still hold some of these very high security prisoners?
It holds some high security prisoners left over from the 9/11 days, in the dozens, okay? It's a very small number of folks. And of course, it's in Cuba, so it feels like it's exiled in another place. It's very controversial because there was not just allegations, there's proof that there was torture going on there. So it feels extraterritorial. So I just feel like this is a place where, and we've seen this in the first 8 or 9 days with Donald Trump, like decisive, maybe gone too far, maybe didn't think things through.
Yeah, and often we see him have the threat of things available as a deterrent. So whether he follows through on actually sending people there is a whole other thing. But obviously we can't divorce what has happened in the last couple of days, him trying to send plane loads of people back to Colombia and other places in South America. But before we run out of time, Jim, I've got to ask you about RFK Jr. and this confirmation hearing. It was quite a spectacle. It was always going to be so. From Carolyn, his cousin, calling him a predator, accusing him of leading family members down a path of drug addiction. And today he said that he regrets some of the things that he said about vaccines and said, oh no, I'm not an anti-vax, to which he was heckled.
Yeah, so are you going to believe what RFK has said in the last 2 weeks or what RFK has said in the last 2 decades? And, you know, he had a hearing that was not very good. Besides all the vaccine stuff that is really controversial, he also stumbled on some very just basic things on like the Medicaid program. If you're head of HHS and you don't understand how Medicaid works, which is the largest federal program for poor people for health insurance, you're not qualified for that job. So it was not a good day for him. He still may survive, though.
Yeah. What are Democrats most concerned about at this point? In this flurry of executive orders, Jim, what irks you the most?
Look, I do think that there is a real concern that he is going to decimate the federal workforce and make it so that the federal government is a non-functioning entity. And, you know, he basically gave pink slips. He said to every federal worker, you can leave and we'll pay you through September 30th. Well, 1 out of every 10 federal workers is in law enforcement, like it's FBI, Drug Enforcement Agency, Border Patrol. Like, the government does a lot in this country, and if it's not functioning, there'll be more crime and the economy will grind to a halt. So that's one of many things that he's done in the first 8 or 9 days that I think Democrats are very concerned about.
Well, luckily we check in with you regularly, Jim. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.